You ever have one of those days at work? You know, you've been up since 6 a.m., the boss is constantly nagging you. Going too slow, gotta pick up the pace. Come on, let's get a move on. You're fed up, you're tired. What do you do in this situation? You do what any sane man would do. You grab yourself the nearest caffeinated beverage. Just so happens to be God's favorite white monster. Perfect. You drink said white monster. It's gone. You're sad. Then you start thinking to yourself, man, I wish there was a way I could carry multiple white monsters on me at all times. Well, today, ladies and gentlemen, I have found you the perfect solution. Ladies and gentlemen, I present to you the Turkish M2008 Air Force Assault Vest. I know that name's a mouthful, so I came with a better name. Let me introduce you to the Tactical White Monster Carrier Vest. It's the best I can come up with. And today on Managing Success, we will be going over some of the features and the functions of this vest, as well as the history behind it, because I think this has a very interesting history. The Turkish M2008 Assault Vest was a load-bearing vest that was issued to the armed forces of Turkey, mostly within the Turkish Air Force and the Turkish Gendarmerie, or National Police, back in 2008, to replace much of Turkey's older, aging personal equipment. It was also one of the first homegrown designs that Turkey had made for its armed forces. They based it off of a fishing vest. And the pouches are also fixed to the vest, kind of like a fishing vest. So you can't take these pouches off, you can't put more pouches on. What you see is what you get. These vests were standard issue up until 2016, in which there was a coup in Turkey, and a lot of the soldiers that were perpetrating this coup against the government were seen wearing these vests. Therefore, the government wanted to distance themselves from the coup, in which they began replacing much of these assault vests with more modern equipment. However, they still remain in service with certain units within the Air Force and Gendarmerie up until 2018 and 2019, in which they're completely phased out. Now with that little bit of history out of the way, let's dive right into the features of this vest. Starting off with the material used, it is a ripstop material, meaning that if one of these strands of fabric rips, there's a thicker strand of fabric that'll prevent the rest of the fabric from tearing, hence the name ripstop. This vest also features one GP pouch on the left side of the chest, and then a grenade pouch on the right side of the chest. And just below those will be the 5 magazine pouches. They are compatible with G3/F and FAL magazines, AK magazines, as well as AR magazines. And within the mag pouches, there's a piece of fabric that you can loop through the front of the pouch to help keep your mags more secure within the pouch. Now moving on to the rear of the vest. On the left-hand side, there's a spot for you to hold your combat knife or bayonet. You can also adjust the vest on the rear via more Velcro hook and loop material. This vest does feature a lot of that, especially on the front too. Obviously, all the pouches use the Velcro. You can also use the Velcro on the front of the vest to quickly throw it on or take it off. There's also a zipper under there too. You can zip it up like a jacket. But quick note, if you do that, don't just like rip the Velcro off or you'll rip your zipper like I did. So don't be an idiot and zip it up and then try to take it off like ripping Velcro off. It's just not going to work. So now that I've gone over all the features and functions of this vest, I'll now give you my final thoughts and opinions of this vest. So overall, I think this is a very unique and interesting piece of kit, to say the least. I don't really see a lot of these types of vests a lot. However, there are a few drawbacks. The biggest one, in my opinion, is the quality of stitching that was used on this vest. It's not as strong and it will rip, so just got to be careful with that. Another main drawback is the lack of customization. Like I said earlier, what you see is what you get. 5 mag pouches, 1 grenade pouch, 1 GP pouch, that's it. There's no molly webbing, there's no way for you to fix any more pouches to your system. This thing keeps right into my face, holy shit. There we go. Anyways, like I said, what you see is what you get. 5 mag pouches, 1 GP pouch, 1 grenade pouch, 1 place for you to hold your knife. That's it. you can't add or subtract. So there's no customizing this to fit your needs. So unless you have a very specific need or a specific niche within your group, I don't really see why you'd get this over like a flick or a taps rig or any highly customizable rig. However, I don't think you shouldn't get it. It's not super expensive. It's like, I got this for like 35 bucks. So they're fairly cheap. If you want to like give it to a friend or like use it as like loader gear, this would be the perfect piece of kit to do so. As you, like I said, it just comes with everything. It comes with the bare essentials, but it is everything you need. You give it to a friend, and that can be theirs. They can use that. You can, yeah. I'm just fucking rambling at this point. Another thing I do like about this vest is it is very comfortable to wear. It's very light to wear, even when fully loaded. It doesn't weigh that much, and for being a load-bearing vest, that is a big plus. Especially since you're going to want that comfort when carrying heavy loads. However, I do think this vest's greatest strength, in my personal opinion, is that it allows you to hold a total of 6 caffeinated beverages on your body at all times, 1 12-ounce and 5 16 ounces. This is the reason why I'm completely addicted to caffeine. This vest, sole reason. No other reason whatsoever, just this vest. When I said in my previous video about the FLC Rifleman kit, when you got 2 white monsters on deck, you shouldn't be worried about much in life. Well, imagine if you had a total of 6 white monsters or 6 energy drinks of your choosing on deck. Life is great. But yeah, that's gonna do it for today. I hope you guys liked the video. Make sure to subscribe with notifications on in order to be successful in life, because if you're not successful, then you suck, and sucking is bad. You don't want to suck. That's lame. All right, have a good one. Peace. And we